Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. I'm here for another review. Tigeryl. Uh, okay, I'll read this comment. I was wondering if you could help me in regards to what I should do next in Summoner's War. I was wondering how I could improve it for Arena, offense, defense, and how to beat harder giant stages. So basically what he's asking me is like, what would be a good team to use? What monsters should I work on and all that, right? That's what I get at. So let's see what he has. He has a rogue 6 start. Did some nice runes. So he's doing that a great job. I think he has Tyron, nice. You're going with speed. Okay, you went with swift focus because you obviously want to have a high accuracy, but I would advise you to put the accuracy rune on this slot, an accuracy percent rune, because 64 you want to have it 100%. So that's something I would advise you. Yeah, okay, then we got Wa, and if I'm correct, yeah, Wa is one of the real good units for any kind of PvE situation. Basically for giants he's really good because he decreased the attack bar of the giant, which basically means that the giant can barely attack, or for that matter the towers. And she has continuous damage dots. So that's really good. And decreases the attack speed. So what I would suggest you here to do is probably again make this an accuracy rune. Again, this unit you want to have 100% accuracy on her, at least close to 100%. So I would suggest making this an accuracy rune as well. So both for Tyron and Hawa, that would be a very good upgrade for them. Then we got Ramagos. You got some nice health there, nothing to say about much. You got a copper. Some nice runes over here. We got a Shimeti. Since you already have a Tyron, the switch between Shimeti and Tyron is basically, if you want to have, that's basically a switch within the arena, because Shimeti is doing more damage than Tyron. Tyron has a bit better control skills. We got an Amon, nice, you got a 99 crit, so that's really good. Obviously you want to try to get, like on this rune you want to try to get a crit rate instead of crit damage, then you have the 100%, really nice. Okay, good, that's really nice. This is a unit that you would definitely use in a PvE, maybe also in PvP. You got Rena, Water Period. She can be a very good unit as well, because she has a good AoE that hits quite often, so she could, if you would rune her with the spare focus, you would be able to stun quite often. And also this is a controlling, so she could be a very good control unit. That's more for Trail of Ascension than for giants. You got a Wind Period as well, which is also a strong unit for one single target damage. Definitely something you want to eventually use, because she could be very good. You obviously got the Sylphic from the event. This is going to be one of your units that you want to try to get up for the giants. And also other things to use, because her shield, force shield, is giving you super much survivability. So even weak units can survive big hits. The shield gets better at 6 stars, obviously. Monsters get better at 6 star, but her shield specific, it says it's specific. Create a shield that absorbs and inflict damage proportional to your level. So what I wanted to say to you is make this a 5 star max level at least before starting using her, otherwise she's not really useful. For runes, you could go two ways. You could go with Despair Focused, for example, and then you have this skill is an AoE, so you could maybe stun some people. but I think you could better go for swift focus. So the swift is there, so she's quite well. She has a decent amount of speed to use her shield and gets a bit more turns in. The focus is there, so you can get the first kill off with his continuous damage. That was really strong against the giants, and I would suggest using HP percent on 2 and 4, and you could make an accuracy wound on 6, but you could also go HP percent there, as long as you get some accuracy on your substats, that is. She is going to be one of the units you want to have on your team in giants. We get the Aria, I think it's Aria. Could be a good unit for stunning as well, but I think you have better units, so I won't go too much in depth about that. Okay, I'll think about what team you should use, which units you should use for progressing in giants, and then I'll give you an arena defense team as well, what I think is good. So for progressing in giants, units that are basically really good are units that can take a hit. Some of these units that also can provide you with dots that are good units, and something that can sustain or heal your units. There is a really good team out there that I'm using currently myself. It's not finished, my team yet, but the team is really not that insanely hard to get or something. I'll call it out. I have one thing to note, that it actually isn't like you don't have to have this team exactly, because you could make some units change out with other units and that will work as well. But for me, my team is, for example, Orochi, Bernard, you have that, Bernard, Shannon, and Acasis, you have Acasis as well, so you got Shannon, Bernard, Shannon, and Acasis, you already have those. Darian is the light vagabond, and I have my damage dealer is Orochi, but that could be switched out for something else. And I'll go about why these units are used so often. Bernard is used quite often because of the two reasons. First of all, he gives your attack speed and attack gauge, which makes you attack first and more often, which is good. Second of all, it's his body slam. It attacks an enemy with and weakens their attack and defense. That's basically what you want to have as debuff on the giant. Why? Because when his defense is crushed and his offense, he won't hit as hard, he won't hit as hard, and you do a lot more damage. Shannon is used because of her two reasons, well, three reasons actually. First of all, you get a buff, you get attack power and defense, which makes your units take less damage and do more damage. Secondly, she has a decrease that reduces the attack speed of the enemies, which is pretty damn good. Since the giants is already slow, the deceleration will help quite a bit. And then Spirit Ball, also really good effect on the Spirit Ball is the glancing hit. Because if you would get the glancing hit together with the attack power defense, the giant won't do shit damage. It will do shit damage on you. And then the Acasis is there to provide you with the force shield, so when he hits the big AoE, that is already reduced quite a lot, that you barely take damage because you have the shield up, so only the shield breaks and you don't lose much life. So that's why those three units are there. Orochi is my main damage dealer, but actually the Silver has a continuous damage dots as well, which could be very useful. And what I would suggest for you is use your Amon for healing and use your Awa for more continuous damage dots plus slowing down the enemy. When you fight him, you have to take note that the seventh hit or the seventh hit of your units, he's gonna counterattack. So always try to take that with one of your stronger units, and one of the stronger units should be either Amon or your Wind Sylphet, and maybe even Bernard, depending on how you ruined him. Because I ruined mine with HP percent, that's why I'm saying that. If you go with this strategy that I just told you, these three units plus the Amon and the Wa, if you go with that strategy, for example, what you have to do is that all those units, Wa, well not all, Wa, Bernard, Shannon, and yourself, it needs to have a decent amount of accuracy percent on them, because you want to land those debuffs on the boss. So take note about that, because you need to make sure that you land those debuffs. So that means accuracy percent on this slot for both Shannon and Bernard, and maybe, well, also for the Wind Sylphet, and even for War, you need to get that accuracy percent. Only your Bearman doesn't need that. Yeah, so that's a really good team for Giants. What else? For Arena defense and offense, I would go for defense. I would basically use Tyrone together with Rogue, Shimeti, and Amon or Copper, or Ramagos. Your Ramagos is quite good. I would put him on defense. I would go with Tyrone, Rogue, Ramagos, and Amon. That's what I would do. For offense, well, to be honest, it's gonna be Tyrone. I think Tyrone plus Shimeti would actually be good, because you have two units that can be really controlish. But I would go with Tyrone, Rogue, Shimeti, and actually you should try to get a Megan at some point. That will work, because you don't have buffs. You don't need buffs necessarily to have a good team, but it will help. It will help quite a bit. Because then I would do Tyrant, Rogue, a buffer like Megan, and Shimeti. I think you could take Shimeti or Copper, but Shimeti has those AoE, so that will give you really control-ish setup. You could take Amon for some of the heals, but you could also take War to decrease their attack gauge bar, so the unit you focus on never attacks. You have quite some choices in this with these units, but both should be the setups that I said should work pretty decently. What you need to try is to get a Megan, or otherwise you could also use your Shannon to be one of your buffers, because attack power and defense buff will help you out quite a bit, especially with if you use Copper. Yeah, that was it. I hope you got something useful out of it, and yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought about it, and then for the rest, I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.